Before we get started, I'd like to show you the Anime America limited edition pop sockets that are on sale at our Teespring store for a limited time only. This is a pre-order item with a cute little design not featured on any of our other products, but a certain amount has to be sold in order to make the pre-order work. No worries on your end though, as your money will be returned immediately if the pre-order doesn't succeed. So if you'd like to own this limited edition pop socket while supporting our channel, just click on the link down below to make your purchase before July 2020. So, tackling these Patreon requests have not been easy, considering how long the request list became and how many episodes were attached to each request. While some of these have the typical 12 to 24 episodes, others have more. A lot more. So here we have a huge request from Patreon supporter Lee Goldberg, who wanted me to review Diamond is Unbreakable, which is actually the 4th arc in the ever bizarre world of JoJo. 5th if you count Stardust Crusaders as 2 separate arcs, with the Egypt arc being its own thing, but I'm gonna say 4th, just for reviewing purposes. But yeah, in order for me to fully understand everything in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable, I'm going to have to watch the first 3 arcs, and I figured since this may take a while, perhaps I can entertain you all by reviewing each arc one at a time. Might as well get dressed up for this. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure started off as a manga series dating all the way back to 1987. This makes the JoJo franchise 1 year older than me. Oof. It was written and illustrated by Hirohiko Araki, and originally serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine until in 2005, when it was transferred over to the monthly seinen manga magazine Ultra Jump. As of right now, in the catastrophic year that is 2020, the series is divided into 8 different arcs, with its current one, JoJolion, still being produced as of 2011. Now, even with its hype and popularity, some studios believe that an over-the-top manga such as JoJo would be a difficult one to produce as an anime, as they felt the exaggerated theme and art style would be lost in transition. They attempted to, however, with the help of Studio APPP, the same studio that brought you Project A-ko, Golden Boy, and Sexy Sailor Soldiers? Remind me to watch this for what am I watching next time. Their first attempt was a 13-episodic OVA in 1993 depicting the Stardust Crusaders arc, but in order to grab attention from the fans, they released 6 episodes first, which was a short summary of the Egypt arc, and releasing the other 7 episodes later on VHS and DVD, which shows the beginning of Stardust Crusaders. The overall reaction to this adaptation was a resounding meh, but the studio had to recall shipments of the OVA due to major complaints by Egyptian Islamic fundamentalists. Apparently, Dio was reading from the Quran, which is a huge no-no in Islamic culture. Then the studio tried again with a movie version of Phantom Blood. It was a way to celebrate Hirohiko Araki's 25-year career as a manga artist, but was only released in Japanese theaters for a short time, and it just suddenly disappeared. A 2007 film for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Phantom Blood just disappears, with only small snippets of the film existing online? Well, that's just bizarre. Punny. I don't know, maybe the fans were outraged when the film decided to not include the best waifu in all of anime history, Speedwagon. Oh no, they didn't! Nothing else really happened until in 2012, Araki randomly announced at a press conference celebrating 25 years of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure that a proper anime adaptation was going to be released starting October 2012, animated by David Production, the same studio that brought you The Good Food Fight, firefighting anime style, and Sushi. This studio goes above and beyond to bring the insane nature of the JoJo manga to animation. So let's see how well they do at the very beginning of this adventure, Phantom Blood. Shortly after a sudden crash, a scumbag named Dario Brando forces his wife to steal whatever is left inside the carriage while leaving the baby inside to die. That is until the crying baby's father, George Joestar, mistakes Dario for saving him and swears to pay him back somehow. Years later, when Dario dies, he asks George for his favor to be paid back by looking after his only son, Dio Brando. It is Dio. He's so evil. Due to his upraising, Dio instantly hates George's son, Jonathan Joestar, for looking like a spoiled and weak son of the rich. So he takes it upon himself to make Jonathan's life a living nightmare, while doing whatever he can to destroy the Joestar family and steal their wealth in time. Several years pass as the two stepbrothers learn to get along, while not knowing what Dio was secretly planning. George Joestar is very sick and not getting any better, so Jonathan suspects Dio and decides to investigate the so-called medicine he's been giving their father. With a little help from, and I'm obligated to say this, best waifu in anime Robert E.O. Speedwagon. Yes, R.E.O. Speedwagon. You get it! Anyways, with a little help from Best Waifu Speedwagon, they were able to prove that Dio was guilty of poisoning George while calling in the authorities to take him away. That is until Dio puts on a mask that somehow turns him into an extremely powerful vampire that will not easily die. And that right there is just a tip of the Bizarre Adventure iceberg. So, the epic rivalry begins. Dio Brando versus the Joestar family. Who will win in this epic fight? Or more specifically, how insane will these battles be? Look, just downright saying JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is over the top is a huge understatement. Like, the biggest understatement in the history of spoken understatement. You get my point. While the stories themselves are basic enough to understand, it's the journey that happens throughout each series that grabs your attention. Sure, it may seem like it's about a hero vowing to protect his friends and loved ones against an evil, Dio, but the challenges and fights this character has to endure are pretty intense. It is nothing like what the other Joestars have to endure, but knowing that the action for this series only escalates from here and hardly ever dies down certainly puts an impression on you. Not to mention the fight scenes just make you keep on guessing on what will happen next. I mean, Jonathan has just put through a lot of trials that seem nearly impossible to overcome, but he finds a way to outsmart his opponents while explaining how it was all done. There's a lot of that. And from both sides, and each arc. It's like everybody just loves to monologue around here. Oh, don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong. All this monologuing, it just adds to the charm of the show, and I love it. But before we move forward, I feel like I owe you all an apology. I don't know what came over me nearly 5 years ago, but I made a huge mistake that needs to be rectified right now. Everyone, I am truly sorry that I put Dio as an honorable mention in the top 10 most evil villains in anime. What? Honestly, I don't know if it's because I didn't take the show seriously at first way back when, or it just wasn't in my team's radar at the time. But it doesn't really feel right when I watch that video now. I mean, there are some good ones on that list, but Dio needed to be on the main list somewhere. Not sure if he's more evil than Frieza or the Major, but let's take a look at what he's done. He's poisoned his own father and tried to poison Jonathan's father. He assaults Jonathan every time he tried to help him, formed his own gang to spread vicious rumors about Jonathan, stole Arena's first kiss, became a vampire while slaughtering the police force and Jonathan's father, turned several civilians into vampires, tricked a mother into eating her own child, I can't believe I read that right, sending countless challengers to kill Jonathan before he arrives at his castle, kidnapping Arena, sinking an entire ship full of people just to get to Jonathan, and the most outrageous thing he's ever done is he burned the family dog. This is the first rule of JoJo. Never get attached to dogs. I don't know why Araki has a thing against puppies, but you never meet a dog in this show that lives. Dio is pure evil, and while he tried to justify his actions with how he was raised and such, he just stopped finding excuses and just wanted to become the strongest being in existence while stomping out the Joestar lineage. He never liked being seen as weak in front of others and hated Jonathan for his privileged lifestyle compared to his rough childhood. With his attitude and pride, Dio became one of the most memorable villains to ever exist, and this is before he returns in Stardust Crusaders. But what would a villain be without a hero? And the first to ever confront Dio is our very first JoJo, Jonathan Joestar. He lived a wealthy life, but with stern expectations from his father George. He lived a happy life with no worries, while vowing to live an honorable life to help others. In the eyes of Dio, he was too spoiled and weak to ever exist, but his will to protect his family's honor made our villain underestimate him. Compared to the other JoJos, Jonathan is very polite, honorable, and a gentleman. He goes above and beyond to do what's right for others, while still holding some compassion for his stepbrother. I mean, he has to stop Dio at all costs, but it doesn't mean Jonathan doesn't feel sorry for him. Maybe he holds too much hope for his brother, which would make him foolish, or he genuinely wanted to find a way to save him. A bit too much to ask when you're up against someone as evil as Dio, but at least he tried. Overall, Phantom Blood is a nice and easy first step into this bizarre series that only gets weirder, stranger, and insane-er from here. And that is saying a lot considering what just happened in the first arc. But the world of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as a whole is just an insane series keeping you on edge while questioning what's going to happen next. I like not knowing how our heroes are going to tackle each challenge, so this is just fun to me. Not to mention the studio, David Production, did one hell of a job bringing the series to life. With the color schemes, adding dramatic tension in some scenes, and incorporating the stylistic katakana from the manga to the anime only demonstrates what an amazing adaptation this really is. Araki's vision is grand and stylistic, and I believe David Production captured his style perfectly. Not to mention the series sparked a wave of memes for all of us to enjoy, from the rumble sound effect in katakana to the epic use of to be continued, and how can we forget? You thought I would play this with the English dub, but I showed the Japanese dub. Because I know some of you would roast me in the comment section for playing the wrong version. Yada yada. This may seem a bit too much, but I had a lot of fun watching it, and have continued my way through to the next arc, Battle Tendency. If you're interested in watching the first season, you can watch it all on Crunchyroll and Anime Labs. And while the Japanese dub is phenomenal at all times, I will still give some kudos for the English dub. They knew exactly what they were getting into and brought their A game. Though I will say hearing Johnny Young Bosch perform as Jonathan with a British accent is a bit weird, I still didn't mind it too much.
Hear me, Dio. It shames me as a gentleman to say this, but I can no longer hold back the truth. I, Jonathan Joestar, have such hatred for you.
I'd say do what you can to enjoy this in Japanese, but if you prefer English dubs, this one is actually pretty good. All I'm saying is Patrick Sates as Dio is...
Don't misunderstand me, JoJo. Honestly, this is something in which I will take no pleasure.
Beautiful. I didn't know what to expect with this series, but I'm just having a good time watching it and looking forward to seeing more. If you've been curious about this bizarre show, then definitely start with Phantom Blood and go from there. With all of that said, we've tackled the first arc, so in our next review, let's make our way to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure's second arc, Battle Tendency, with our second JoJo, Joseph Joestar. And we'll talk more about Best Waifu in that video too. Oh, Speedwagon.
I've yet to gauge the full extent of my new powers, so let's play a little...
You sly dog! You got me monologuing, I can't believe it.
I'm so tortured. No, I'm more tortured than you. Huh, you wouldn't know tortured if I tortured you right now. Dude, I was tortured before you were even born. Well, man, my torture was so bad.
Shut up, kids, and do your long division!
I'm the video game boy. I'm the one who wins!
How can we trust a blood-sucking vampire?
Simple. I'm a vegan. I don't eat anything with a face. I generally tear the face off first.
Oh, I feel safer already.
Jimmy, take out the dog.
Yes, mother.
For a walk, Jimmy.
Tastes like chicken.
It don't take a word, not a single word. Go on and kiss the girl.
I'm perfect! I'm finally perfect!
Is that a JoJo reference?
Hello, Dio. I hope we can be friends.
I'm going to poison your father.
Goodbye, JoJo.
Oh, we're so evil and nasty for no particular reason at all!
Hot dog, hot diggity dog!
Swear to me on Dario's honor as a gentleman. Do that and I'll never bring up this moment again.
Dinkelberg.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Hello, it's me. I just decided that things are going a bit too smoothly, and I'm gonna mess it up.
Huh. Somebody spilled jam everywhere.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
Excuse me, are you gonna eat that?
No. You can have it.
Thank you.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you.
First arc down, 4 to go. I mean, my request was for Diamond is Unbreakable, so I don't have to review Golden Wind, but at this point I may as well do all 5 of them. Have they announced if Stone Ocean was getting animated? I mean, I know Golden Wind just ended last year, but I want to see Stone Ocean. I just want to see Jolene Cujo. She looks awesome. Anyways, let me know what you thought of Phantom Blood by leaving a comment down below. If anything, what are your thoughts on JoJo's Bizarre series as a whole? I'd like to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. We make announcements for our next videos on Facebook and Twitter, so be sure to follow us to keep up to date with us. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews and such from this channel. I would like to give a special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. YouTube really has been kind to some of your favorite content creators, but thanks to all of your generosity, we've been able to keep producing videos, so I can't thank all of you enough for all that you do for this channel. Thank you all so much for watching. More awesome videos will be on the way, so stay tuned to Anime America.